Breaking Gulf News. Abu Dhabi, a total of 37,663 Emiratis cast their ballots in the first early voting in the Federal National Council /FNC election, the National Election Committee NEC announced on Wednesday. With early voting ending on Wednesday, NEC officials said they were confident of a massive voter turnout on Election Day, set for October 3. Dr. Anwar Gargash, Minister of State for FNC Affairs and Chairman of the NEC, said the early voting was a success and witnessed a significant voter turnout. Gargash urged Emiratis to turn out in mass to exercise their franchise in the election day on October 3 and become fully engaged in the political process. Ahmed Ben Shabib al-Dahiri, former deputy speaker of the FNC and member of the NEC, told Gulf News that a lot more people than the 224,000 citizens eligible to vote could show up to exercise their franchise on election day. Al-Dahiri was impressed by the encouraging voter turnout in early voting and in the overseas voting held in UAE missions. Thousands of Emiratis swarmed the polling stations across the country to cast their ballots in the first early voting for the Federal National Council since the Political Empowerment Program launched in 2006, he said. In 2011, the voter turnout was not as expected, whereas in the first round more than 74% of the electoral pool voted. In the second round the number petered down to under 30%, seemingly indicating a loss of interest in voting. Al-Dahiri said this year's elections witnessed a wider awareness campaign to educate the people about the vital role of the FNC and instill the culture of democracy in them. And more polling stations have been set up across the country, making it easier for voters to cast their ballots, and if voters happen to live outside the UAE, overseas ballots also introduced this year, allowing them to lodge their ballots as well. More than 1,300 Emiratis have cast their vote at embassies around the world, including Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who cast his vote at the UAE mission to the UN on September 21. The NEC said that the electoral process for the FNC elections 2015 will enter a period of electoral silence for 48 hours, starting from October 1 to October 3, Election Day. The NEC has urged all candidates and their representatives as well as the media to refrain from any form of election campaign during this period. Tariq Hilal Luda, Undersecretary of the Ministry of State for FNC Affairs and Chairman of the Election Management Committee, explained that the period of electoral silence will give enough time for the voters to decide their candidates on their own without getting influenced by anyone. Luda commended the candidates for their commitment to the election executive instructions related to the election campaigns. The NEC, however, observed some minor breaches which were dealt in accordance with the legal procedures stipulated under the executive instructions, he said. The NEC has followed in depth the election campaign of all the candidates, which highlighted the keen interest of the UAE citizens to find appropriate solutions to issues of concern to the society, Luda said. Voting in the FNC elections will take place from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on October 3 at 36 polling centers across all the Emirates. Voters will be able to exercise their franchise using an electoral voting system that works through the Emirates ID card. The NEC has urged voters to carry their Emirates ID as the authorized document that will enable them to cast their vote.